Hey guys, Kyle from YWT here, back with another Flyers post-game recap here. We're talking about another win. If you're coming here directly from the game, if you're watching us live, say hi. I do have comments on, so if you're here, say hi, and I'll see if we can get to some questions. In the meantime, we're here to talk about a big Flyers win. Another defeat over the Penguins. Tonight we saw 5-2. Philadelphia Flyers remain undefeated. 2-0 here after beating the Pittsburgh Penguins twice here in the early on. Looking ahead real quick, we do have Buffalo in a couple of days, but we're here mostly to talk about Pittsburgh right now. Travis Konechny had the biggest night, right? He had the hat trick. That's the lead, right? Travis Konechny scores a hat trick, the first of his career. Other goal scorers included Oscar Lindblom and Ivan Provorov. And the team looked probably not as complete an effort as we saw Wednesday night, but the team still looked pretty good. Carter Hart is still kind of figuring things out a little bit, but he looked okay tonight. He played really well down the stretch as the Penguins were pushing. Travis Konechny obviously kind of broke out of his shell and exploded for the 3 goals, and he was pushing the other night, and he ended up with a couple of points, but it was nice kind of seeing him break through, especially after some of the criticism he received over the offseason for not necessarily performing in the bubble. I know that game 2 of the regular season is not the same as the bubble in terms of pressure, but we're taking what we can get here. And what we got was production out of Travis Konechny, and that's a good thing. He was your first star of the game. Right, we got the first star of the game. We got Travis Konechny. Carter Hart was your second star. Oscar Lindblom was your third star. Oscar Lindblom also played a really good game. He was super noticeable. He was physically involved, which was nice to see. Him and Joe Lafferty got into it a little bit. I think his name is Joe Lafferty. Him and Lafferty got into it a little bit after Lafferty took a little bit of a run at Claude Giroux. Oscar Lindblom standing up for the captain. You love to see that. Also played a really good game, played a good physical game, was in front of the net, had the puck on his stick a lot, was pretty consistently present in the action. And Kevin and I talked on the past show, and I'll throw the plugs out at the end, but Kevin and I talked on the last show about Oscar Lindblom maybe looking a little rusty, and that we could expect some, not nerves, but some rust, right? He hasn't played a ton of meaningful regular season hockey in quite a while. And would he be able to keep up? Would he be able to jump on the train and be a meaningful part of the offense? And he proved tonight that not only is he a meaningful part of the offense, he might be one of the things that's driving the offense. He was involved in every play. If the puck was in the offensive zone, I expected to see 23 there. And we're moving forward. And if Lindblom continues to be what he's been, then I think a lot of the concerns we heard from the fan base over the offseason about adding a scorer, not having enough scoring touch, blah, 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 blah. If Oscar Lindblom scores like he was scoring last season before he obviously ended up having to miss some time, he's that guy. He's the guy that the fans wanted us to acquire. And now, no, he's not Patrick Laine. He's not going to score 60, but he's going to contribute. And we've seen that out of him already. And if Travis Konechny can take the next step, right? He led the team last year in scoring. I believe he had 24 goals. And if he can, continue to take the next step and be an offensive leader, right? We've seen him be a leader with the chirps and the talk and the blah, blah, blah. But if he can be a leader on the ice as well, he's going to turn into a very good player. And that contract that we've talked a lot about is going to be a very good value contract. And the same can be said about Oscar Lindblom, right? And that we know was a placeholder contract. Chuck Fletcher said, we hope this is the smallest contract you ever sign. That's the phrase we heard from Chuck Fletcher. And 3 years, $3 million per. If this guy ends up being a 30 goal scorer. Maybe not this year with a shortened season, but if Oscar Lindblom ends up scoring 15 or 20 goals this year, maybe on pace for a 30 goal season over a full 82, $3 million is a pittance to pay that man. He is severely underpaid. We're talking about some of the best value contracts in the league at that point if you're getting 30 goal scoring for $3 million a season. So we really, really saw what Chuck Fletcher's done tonight. We saw the fruits of Chuck Fletcher's labor, right? Ivan Provorov scored a goal on a Chuck Fletcher contract. Travis Konechny scored a goal on a Chuck Fletcher contract. And Oscar Lindblom scored a goal on a Chuck Fletcher contract. As well, Flyers that added some points tonight. Jake Voracek scored his first points of the season. He had assists on at least one of the goals. I think it might have been two. Pulling up the site here now. But Jake Voracek also had a pretty good game. A couple weird turnovers, but overall, I think Jake was one of the stronger Flyers tonight. I saw a good game out of Jake Voracek. Perfect? No, of course not. Jake Voracek's not a perfect hockey player, and we all kind of know that. But in terms of the things Jake Voracek brings to this offense, we saw a lot of that tonight. And if you guys listen to the show, you know that I'm a bit of a homer, and we really don't make much of a secret about that. I'm a pretty dedicated Flyers fan, and my thoughts are influenced by that pretty consistently. But through 2 games, I'm very excited about this team. This is a team that has found a way to win. It would have been easy. Okay, recap the game, by the way. The Flyers go up 3-0. Konechny scores 2. Farabee adds a third. I'm sorry, not Farabee adds a third. I'm sorry. Provorov scores his first of the season on the power play to make it 3-0. And then not long after that, a minute and a half later, Sidney Crosby. 32 seconds after that, Brandon Tanev. 2 goals, 32 seconds. All of a sudden, the game goes from 3-0 to 3-2 like that. It would be easy for a team that just ran out to a 3-0 lead in the first period, leading to the removal of Tristan Jarry. Casey DeSmith finished this game, but Tristan Jarry ended up getting chased in the first period. And after you allow that lead to evaporate, after you allow a 3-0 game to become a 3-2 game, I think it says a lot about this team that they were able to buckle down at that point. And for the next period and a half, right, through the whole second period, no goals. Through a large chunk of the third period, no goals for either side. Game slowed down a little bit. We are going to talk about Sean Couturier, and he might be part of the reason the game slowed down a little bit. We'll get into that. But overall, the team found a way to win. And you found a way to win when Sean Couturier plays something in the neighborhood of 30 seconds and takes a weird hit by the boards. Didn't really look like much at the time. It didn't even look like much when they went back and showed it on the broadcast. Like I didn't see much of anything, to be honest with you. And he left and didn't return. And that, at the moment, that's all we know. I don't know how much we're going to know. I don't know when we're going to know it. In the COVID world, who knows when we're going to know what we're going to know and when we're going to know it. But until then, obviously, we do wish Sean Couturier the best, and we hope that it's nothing serious. And looking at it, it doesn't look like anything that should keep him out long term. But at the same time, it didn't really look like anything that should have knocked him out of the game. So until Sean Couturier says that he's ready to go, or until we hear otherwise, maybe be a little cautious. Sean Couturier may not play in the Flyers' next game on Monday. The good news is the next game isn't until Monday. He's got Saturday. He's got Sunday. Hopefully we figure out what's going on with him. And I'm sure the team will let us know whatever they can let us know. But hopefully we figure out what's going on with him and get it solved by the next game. And hopefully Sean Couturier is in your lineup when you face the Buffalo Sabres, because it's a lot harder to beat him if you don't have him. And as we kind of saw throughout the league tonight with Ottawa, giving Toronto a bit of a scare. Any team can beat any team. And even though we've kind of looked at Buffalo as a lower rung team in the division, and we kind of expect them to finish in the bottom down with New Jersey, that doesn't mean they're easy wins. And that doesn't mean that the Flyers are definitely going to beat them and walk through them and take 4 points easy. And we'll be back here Monday to talk about it on the post game. In the meantime, there will be a new episode of You Would Think on Sunday evening. You can follow us on Twitter at YWT Podcast for more information about that. My co-host over there is Kevin Durso. You can follow him at Kevin_Durso. The show can also be found on sportstalkphilly.com, which is at sportstalkphl on Twitter. The rest of the plugs are down at the bottom, and everything else you're gonna hear on Sunday. So come along for the ride. We got 2 games under our belt, 54 more to go. The Flyers are still undefeated. Joel Farabee is no longer leading the Art Ross race like he was yesterday. For a brief window of time 2 days ago, Joel Farabee was the NHL's leading scorer, and that was a nice little window. But he is no longer. Maybe he will be by Sunday. No, probably not. He didn't score tonight. It's pretty unlikely. Maybe he will be by next week's show. How about that? Or maybe even by the end of the post-game show on Monday. And I'll be back here Monday after the game. In the meantime, listen to the podcast.